Right on time.
There you go.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Town of Port Royal, August 11th council meeting. Our first item of business, we all pledge allegiance. Mary Beth, will you lead us?
I will. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing for the prayer.
Would you pray with me, please? Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the many blessings of life. And Lord, we're thankful for this opportunity that you give us to come together tonight at Town Hall in Port Royal to do the business of our community. Thank you for the people that are here, the citizens that care so much about this town, that are here to give up their time. And thank you for the folks here on the council with us. Lord, I ask that you be with each person here tonight. Give us the courage and the wisdom, the words and the discernment to make the decisions that are pleasing in your sight. These things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Take a look at our agenda. First item of business is we have 6 sets of minutes. We've got minutes from our special meeting of July 6th, a public hearing of July 7th, workshop on the 7th, special meeting on the 7th, public hearing on the 14th, and the regular council meeting on July 14th. If everybody's had an opportunity to review those minutes, entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve minutes from the special meeting of July 6, 2021, minutes from the public hearing of July 7th, 2021, minutes from the council workshop of July 7th, 2021, minutes from the special meeting of July 7th, 2021, minutes from the public hearing of July 14, 2021, and minutes from the regular council meeting of July 14, 2021.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Mayor, I can't second it because I wasn't here the 7th. I was going through some stuff.
A second.
We have a second. Thank you, Kevin. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you.
I just abstained.
Van, you want to do a council briefing update? Anything you want to?
Yeah, sure. I was going to give, do I call him Chief Berthoff still, or? Yes.
Dana.
There you go. There you go.
Well, then we'll get one last time. Welcome, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Today is August 11th, 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And on August 11th, 2001, it was my first day 20 years ago as a paid firefighter for the City of Beaufort, Town of Port Royal Fire Department. So it's fitting that after 20 years of service, I'm ecstatic to present to you tonight the new fire chief who's been selected. Before I do that, I want to tell you that the relationship between the City of Beaufort and Town of Port Royal has been one of the crowning achievements of both towns during the time of my administration and those that came before me. And that relationship with y'all, both in support and in question, has meant more to me personally than I think most. And I appreciate that. I want to tell you personally, thank you. You have grown me professionally, and I am more than excited to take the next step and continue to work with you in my new role with the city. So thank you. But without further ado, this is not about me. I would like to introduce Chief Tim Ogden, who on Friday will become the fire chief for the City of Beaufort, Town of Port Royal Fire Department, and let him say a few words. So thank you.
Thank you.
Chief. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Grateful for this opportunity to continue to serve the town of Port Royal. And I say continue because I've been fortunate enough to work directly under Chief Berthoff for the last few years as the Deputy Chief of Operations. So I've had a lot of experience in running the fire department and working close with the town and City of Beaufort, and grateful for the opportunity to continue to lead as fire chief.
We welcome you, and I know we're excited.
Welcome you. I know it's not about you, Chief, but 2 great things happened today 20 years ago. Number one, I married my wife, so today is our anniversary. And number 2, you started with the fire department. So props to you. You've done a great job. I've enjoyed working with you. Thank you, and best of luck in everything moving forward. To our new chief, I've got to know you over the past couple of years. I know you'll do a good job. I look forward to working with you as we continue moving this thing forward here in the town of Port Royal. Appreciate you. I'm here if you need me.
Thank you very much. I'm excited for it.
And I just want to say welcome, and we continue to work with the fire department as we always have. I know you've been a big part of that, so we do want to thank you for what you've done in the past and what we look forward to in the future with. Chief, it's a great job working with you. Can't wait to your new role as the Assistant of Beaufort City. And I know we're still going to continue to work, and you'll also work with Tim. So congratulations to both of you on this new promotions.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and Chief, I'll see you around. You're not going anywhere, so we'll be in contact. But I was excited when we got the news, so congratulations. I think they made an excellent decision. So.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to this, and we look forward to keeping this model going and showing people that this is the model that other towns, counties, and cities should look at. We've proven it works, and we've proven it's efficient, and it was both of you that have allowed us to keep going, and we look forward to keeping that moving into the future.
Definitely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The final thing, Mayor, is everybody is invited on the 24th of this month for the city council meeting, where Chief Ogden will take his oath of office and his family will pin on his badge. So please join us if you will.
August 24th?
Yes, sir.
That's a Tuesday?
Yes, sir.
What time is that, sir?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock p.m.
All right, just one other thing I want to talk about. Last week we talked about the porch and the engineered requirement. I had Mike give me the code section and what the issue was. And where we are is it is a wind limitation, wind design requirement based upon the geography of the location. I do have the map here that kind of dictates that those are things that we have to do. But what we are proposing to do is, because this is something that's come up before, is we would like to take a porch design, have it reviewed by a structural engineer, and have it approved as a prototype. So if we do have mobile homes that come in on individual lots, we can provide them with this engineered drawing so that they don't have to bear the cost of that, because it does seem a little bit outrageous to require that. So that's what we're proposing. I wanted to get some feedback from y'all on that. But right now, it is a requirement that it has to be engineered.
I'll go first. Yeah, I think any way we can help the community and do something simple like that and have a prototype out there, and if they understand they build it to the prototype, they've got what they need. If they decide to change it, then they've got to go through more engineered drawings. But let's offer that to the community in that aspect.
Okay.
I think it's a great way to help that out.
All right.
Agreed.
I agree. I thank you for trying to do what you could do, so.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to
We
think
will
outside the box and figure out a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's real good, and hopefully give us a little more time to get that done, and then we can get you to the next step.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
Thanks for understanding.
Thank you. Thanks for, I assume, planning, and Mike, tell Mike, thank you
Yeah.
for everybody looking at it and figuring out a solution. That really goes beyond just a single person, and goes beyond.
well, that's
that.
what we figured. It would, it could be utilized across the board.
Mhm.
Yep.
I was wondering if there are any other updates from the briefing from last week. I don't really have anything other than that, unless y'all have specific questions.
I've got two, but let's start
Sure.
with the one. Give everybody a briefing on where we are with refuge collection and recycling collection. I know you spent a bunch of time this week
Yeah.
trying to, where are they and what's the long-term
Right.
plan?
We reached out to their corporate structure Sunday evening with our concerns. What followed Monday was a discussion that Brooke and I participated, our ongoing emails and discussions with Waste Pro and their management. We did find out the person that was supposedly in government relations was no longer employed with them. We then found out that they have been significantly impacted by COVID and were having drivers that just weren't showing up. As a result of that, they had to redeploy some resources from other routes. They then put a regional manager on the routes with the drivers to try to catch up. So basically, for the last several days, they've had 2 trucks in town trying to catch up with where they were. Because we did have a few neighborhoods that were completely missed, and so they had to go back and take care of that. It was their hope to get back on track. Obviously, we're still in communication. Matter of fact, Brooke was trying to meet with them, because that's one of the problems that we've been having, is the lack of responsiveness from their office staff to complaints and concerns. And so people were getting kind of these circular discussions, but we contract with them to provide this service. There's a reason for that. And we think we're back on track in terms of collection. But I can tell you that the most dependable employee they have, and somebody that we've relied on who's probably filled more roles than he's supposed to, is down right now. He has COVID and is, not able to work. But they're paid to get it done, and they need to get it done. So and they'll keep the regional guy on the routes to make sure everything is getting caught up. But it's not without challenges. So.
And the best way for our citizens to report a miss or an issue is still rather the online form that's on our website.
Yes, sir.
So, and to use that online form, and that goes directly to them so that they can monitor. So if for some reason trash gets missed again next week, there's a form on our website that you can fill out to report that. That's the best way to do that. You get copies of that so you see what's happening as well. That's the best way to do that.
Yep.
But right now, we're caught up all the way across the board, right? As of this moment?
I think we are.
I'm not sure.
Port Royal Landing, they get picked up because they use a different container. Their pickup schedule is a little bit different. That's the one that
But we got into all these other outlying areas that
Yeah, I'm most positive, yes.
Any other questions on that?
With the chair of Parks and Rec, I know he didn't get to speak last week. John, I don't know if you want anything you want to bring them up to speed with.
Sure, bring out my feet real quick.
No, sorry.
Mr. Mayor, Town Council, thanks for this opportunity to speak real quick. We had our meeting last night here in Town Hall, and Van hooked us up with a design firm. And what we are going to start doing within Parks and Rec, and then reach out to the local community, is we're going to start putting together kind of like a wish list for the Naval Heritage Park, what we'd like to see in there, redesign. I think we're leaning more towards turning that into a workout facility, along with, correct me if I'm wrong, Van, with keeping the skate park, just redoing it. So we're going to be, like I said, we're going to put together some ideas and then put out a survey via the Port Royal social media page and the newsletter, and have the town kind of vote on what they want to see. And then the most votes, obviously, is what we'll probably end up going with. So that's where we're at right now.
Appreciate it. Any questions? We look forward to seeing what you guys come up with on that.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then, Van, I know we have Port Royal Veterinarian Clinic. You want to do it during your brief?
Yeah, you give them the floor, baby.
We invite Port Royal Veterinarian Clinic to please come forward and, give us an update of what's happening and all the bad luck.
Thank you, and appreciate your time. First, an update. I know that our building, from looking at it from 15th Street and Paris Avenue, doesn't look that bad. But the tornado hit us with 3 trees, one of which on 15th Street, the contractor has trimmed away from the building to prevent future damage. The other 2 trees that are not on our property that hit us have been taken down. Our damage is substantial, even though, again, from the front, the building looked okay. Our roof was crushed and pierced by 2 of the trees, and then the rain poured in for hours. So we had a couple inches of standing water throughout the first floor. What we're facing now is re-engineering and reconstruction of a large section of our larger roof. What we're facing is the materials that would be like exact replacement materials for that roof aren't available anywhere on the East Coast at the moment, and they're estimating 3 to 6 months before those will be available. So we're looking at alternatives. We've engaged the services of Philip Leroy, a structural engineer who has his business just across the street from us. We're looking at alternative materials to get back in business. But the roof is a reconstruction project. A lot of it, of course, is going to have to be torn away, and then the problem is, with this half of the roof gone, we have to brace the other half of the roof. And what we'll be asking you for, if we can get it, is permission to use some of the municipal spots on Paris Avenue to bring in the equipment and the materials to brace the roof and then to get the other half of the roof rebuilt. Now, I'm told once the materials are on site, you know, the rafters come up quickly, the drywall guys are right behind them, so once we're ready to go, I'm not anticipating that it'll take a great deal of time that we'll have to use those spaces. But we'd appreciate being able to do that because there just isn't another way to get at what we need to repair. We have been fundraising because it was a named wind event. Automatically, you know, there's a deductible for the amount of not what the damages are, but what our coverage is. So we're looking at about $100,000 in deductibles to pay.
Wait a minute, say that again. You had a $100,000 deductible?
It's in the wind policies for communities on the coast and named storms. That's an industry standard. It wasn't a matter of I decided to get a cheaper premium if we take this deductible. That's standard industry practice. A number of people have told me since then that they've had, you know, roofs torn off, and when they were surprised when their insurance said, well, you're going to have to pay, even though it might only cost $20,000 to fix the roof. If you're covered for, you know, $100,000, you pay a percentage of that $100,000. That's an industry standard.
For wind events on named storms.
Yes.
On commercial insurance.
Yeah,
That's what I'm-
yeah, and again, that's an industry standard. I assure you that I didn't, you know, decide I could save a few bucks on my premium by saying, hey, make my deductible a little higher.
And there's multiple policies involved, so each of those policies has its own 5%. And that's how we end up.
So we
with
have a
the
policy on the building, a
100,000.
policy on the contents, loss of income insurance, so our staff is not unemployed.
Yeah, that,
It wasn't declared a disaster, so we're not eligible for any FEMA or small business or anything like that. So we were encouraged to do fundraising by some local nonprofits because the community can't come in the building and help, and they all want to help. That this was a way that they could help rather than taking it out of our retirement. So.
and, you know, some of that may go yet still. But to that point, we are we haven't laid anybody off. With the insurance money that we've gotten so far, we've been able to keep everybody on the payroll as if they were scheduled to work. So we haven't lost any jobs here in Port Royal because of what happened to the hospital. The fundraising, we have a golf tournament that we left some flyers for. That's largely to get our vendors to kick in because, you know, frankly, they're losing money by us not being in business, so they're kicking some in to have a golf tournament that somebody can come out and have a good time and help us out. And as Sheila mentioned, another reason we're here is to ask, you know, for any advice or any guidance, you know, that might be available through government agencies because of this tornado or FEMA or people who've experienced having to deal with these situations before. So any advice we can get from the town, any available resources that we can explore to help us get back open would be very helpful. I can tell you in terms of our clients, I don't mean to take up a lot of your time, but I do want to mention our clients. The other two major veterinary practices of size in town, Animal Medical Center on Ladies Island and Sea Island over behind Sonics, are the other two major practices. Before the storm, they were not accepting new clients. And to get an appointment, their schedules are so full, it's 4 to 6 weeks to get in. So they're having to refer a lot of people from this area to go up to Charleston or down to Savannah if they need pets seen urgently. I mean, we're able to refill prescriptions. You know, we're trying to see, you know, at other places, clients that have pets with chronic problems. But there's a lot of people in this area that are having a hard time getting veterinary services because we're down. So I do want to report that. People have been patient. A lot of people have been kind and chipped in. We have had some pushback, you know, and a little bit of negativity, but overall, people have been helpful. But that's essentially where we stand. We've got a major rebuild on our roof. We'll need a little help, with space and time. Any advice you can give us, and we're racing to do what we can to get back open so we can keep our 25 people on the payroll, fully employed, keep their jobs here, and again, be open to be able to service our clients, and to, drive traffic on Paris Avenue like we did before this happened. Again, thank you for your time. I look forward to any advice or guidance you can give us.
And if you have any questions.
Or any questions, yeah, I'm
I
happy to
just
take
wanted to
questions.
say that you didn't mention, but for the public, they were also hit by
Oh, yes, I
a
forgot.
driver and tore up all the stuff they had in storage in their bins, number one. So now we've had the storm, we've had that.
When he
And
did the first thing, he
Mhm.
slammed into the second T thing. Both of them hit the building, and now our building, the small
Shifted.
building, it has roof damage from that happening.
and their car during Water Festival was damaged.
Yeah.
So 3 things, you should be
Done
good.
and done. That was the other thing. I'm glad you mentioned
But I
that.
did wanna let
I'm
you
sorry
know.
for the appearance of those storage units on Paris Avenue. We're looking at ways to get them out, but they're so badly damaged, they can't be pulled up on a tow truck and driven away. They just fly off in pieces. So the contractor is trying to get some sort of dump truck to take that apart, load it up, and get it away. So we're sorry for the eyesores in front, but I assure you, we are working to get that tidied up.
We understand. From the perspective of a declaration, I can tell you that the town worked extremely hard to try to get to the point that we could do that so that you could go after it. And it is the county responsibility, and we've been told we just don't meet the threshold. I mean, we tried everything. We brought together the other groups. We made sure that they looked everywhere, but we just didn't meet the threshold.
Understand.
We tried very hard because we knew that there are then some advantages in that aspect. And we'll see, we'll look at what we can do. Certainly the parking spaces are not going to be an issue, right? For them to use those parking spaces. during
Oh, yeah,
construction,
that's-
That's not going to be an issue at all.
Yeah, and we'll certainly keep you updated on our progress and, when things are going to be moving in and out.
And we've been waiving all costs for any permitting or inspections for repair work related to the storm. So when y'all get there, that won't be an issue
Good.
either.
Thank you, we appreciate that.
Has there been any talks about rescheduling the concert fundraiser?
The beer
The
garden.
yeah, that got rained out.
Yeah, that was another thing.
Yeah.
The staff member that's working on that is waiting to hear back from the guy who was letting us have it at the beer garden.
Gotcha, okay.
So, yeah, we do want to get that rescheduled,
Mhm.
so.
Well, yeah, once that's done, I agree, everyone, just anything we can do to help. Everybody's very understanding that we talk to, they know kind of what's going on, and let us know how we can promote it and help out in any way, so.
It is a bit hard to stay uplifted, like at the beer garden event, band just gets set up in a torrential rain, and it's just like,
Yeah,
and then thank God the guy was not injured. And it's probably, he was just not injured, let's put it that way.
Yep.
And that really is the most important thing. The rest of it is just things. So,
and good for y'all for keeping everyone employed and working on that, that's great.
Yeah, that's been an important thing. The building is something we can fix, but if our team, can't stay together, that'd be a real tragedy. So, but again, thank you for your time. We'll
Thank you.
keep you updated.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Van, also in the council packet, there was some information about FOIAs. Can you kind of give the council a briefing of what's happening?
Yeah, I think we're up to 15? 16. Yeah, we're currently working 16 individual Freedom of Information requests that required, obviously time, staff, resources, and time, significant time. So anyways, I know y'all wanted an update, just to kind of keep y'all apprised of what's going on.
You said 15 FOIAs.
Yes.
Is that 15 different people?
No, a few repeats.
Is there any patterns there? Are we seeing the same?
I don't want to speculate on that, but yeah, there's FOIAs.
And if you had to give a rough estimate, what kind of time goes into gathering the information? I know that's different depending on what the request is.
Well, I'll just give you the example. that I recently had to do because it was specific to me. I think it generated about 250 pages of copies and probably, at my time, I don't know, what, 2 or 3 hours? So, and that was one.
Well, thank you. I think it's something we probably want to, let us know how this progresses in the future so that we can understand
Sure.
what that extra staff time is on something like that.
You know that we're not a large staff. And in the
Right.
midst of everything we were just talking about, we're, doing damage assessment, trying to interact with, county staff on assessing this and doing everything else. In the midst of that, we're still receiving these FOI requests. So.
Okay. All right, anybody else have any questions for Van before we move on? The next item of business is second reading. Van, go ahead.
Hold on, I've mixed up my piles.
That's all right, I'll do it while you get together. So second reading of ordinance 20-21-27, an ordinance to rezone approximately 3.24 acres of real estate located in Beaufort County, described as Beaufort County Tax District 110, Map 9, Parcel 36 and 204 in Beaufort County, South Carolina, to be rezoned to T4 Urban Center to T4 Neighborhood Center. This is on what some of us would call Waddell Road or Ladies Island Drive Extension behind Hardee's. We'll treat that road as two different things. So this is second reading, and we've had an update. Any changes or anything since first reading? Very good. So what is the pleasure of council?
Make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2021-27.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'll say, because after first reading, I vocalized some concerns, and I'll just say that the owner of the property, Mr. O'Quinn, called me. We discussed those. We had a great conversation about the comments that I'd made to the council earlier and concerns that I had, and we talked about the future of the property. It was a very productive conversation. That's kind of why I'm going to vote to pass the ordinance tonight, and it's just something I want to reiterate to all of the citizens that our phone numbers are on our website. They're right under our great, nice little pictures of us, and feel free to call us anytime with any concerns, and it actually can, if you hear and you have concerns, please give us a call and let's talk about them. So.
Very good. Anything else? Hearing none. All those in favor of ordinance 2021-27, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Next, we've got first readings. You ready, Ben?
Yeah, ordinance 2021-28, an ordinance to rezone approximately 95.81 acres of real estate located in Beaufort County, described as Beaufort County Tax District 110, Map 6, Parcel 3C in Beaufort County, South Carolina, to be rezoned from T3 neighborhood to T1 natural preserve. This was recommended by the Metro Planning Commission. The applicant is the Port Royal Sound Foundation. They're contemplating some conservation activities and educational activities for the site, and this is the first step in that process. This was tract formerly known as the Mobley Tract.
Okay, I got you.
We had a presentation last week on this. Does any council have any more questions for planning staff?
I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2021-28.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous also for first reading. Item B,
Ordinance 2021-29, an ordinance to adopt a revised business license ordinance in accordance with the Business License Standardization Act of 2020, Act number 176. In order to comply with the state legislation, we are all being required to adopt the standard ordinance, which basically codifies the classifications of businesses as well as standardizes the dates for renewal. It will basically stand up a portal so that you can do renewal from remote location. It won't be necessary to go in the offices. Brooke has been working with Cynthia on the normalization, if you will, of the classifications in our current fee structure to make sure that there's no windfall for the town through this process. What we worked through today is going basically business by business, identifying what the impacts would be based upon this new fee structure. There will be some significant impacts to some businesses, some will be the same, and there's significant impacts on both ends of the spectrum in terms of an increase and decrease. And it'll be ultimately up to council to determine how you want to handle some of that. But for this purposes, this is something y'all need to pass in order to get into compliance with the state law.
So you're planning another presentation to us about those impacts?
Yeah, I think what you're going to see, and I'll have to recuse myself, but you'll get a presentation on that.
Okay, okay. Questions, council, staff? None? Question. With this being business license and businesses, I would open it up to the public real quick. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add? If not, we'll bring it back up. What's the pleasure of council?
I make a motion we adopt ordinance 2021-29.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Long time coming for this one. Long time coming.
And this does not guarantee that the business license ordinance will not continue to be under scrutiny or constant revision at the state legislative level. This was just an effort to create something that is a compromise between all those parties, because supposedly it was administrative concerns that was driving a lot of this discussion, and this was the remedy that was created. So.
No, I think it's going to do a lot to, kind of streamline the process and make it more efficient, which is
What we want.
difficult to do in government sometimes, so it's nice to see.
Any indications on when the portal might be up, or is that still pretty far down the road?
That's down the road.
It's down the road.
Yeah.
Okay. Which will make it even better for the businesses that are in multi-jurisdictions and have to get all the licenses. All right, the next item of business is council actions. We have one board or commission appointment tonight, which is the BJWSA representative.
And Mayor, at this time, I will recuse myself and leave the room.
Very good, thank you. So this appointment is for the Beaufort Jasper Water and Sewer Authority representative, which is a 6-year term on the board of directors at the Beaufort Jasper Water and Sewer Authority. With our normal procedures that we've been doing, we opened it up, we had some applicants. We did interviews last week for the 2 applicants, Brandy Gray and David Strange. Council, what's your pleasure?
I'll say these things are always tough, especially when you have 2 great, candidates, and it's a blessing, but at the same time, you do have to pick one. We have a lot of positions in the town that stay vacant, but fortunately, we had 2 great candidates, and at this time, I'll make a motion that we appoint David Strange to the BJWSA representative.
So we have a motion, do we have a second? I'll second that. Any discussion?
Again, it was a tough call.
It is. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's 2-1. David, welcome to the BJWSA board. I know Brandy will help you indoctrinate and move on. Brandy, you will be back. 18 years of service to the town of Port Royal on that. Absolutely amazing. Those are the type of citizens we need, and we'll have you back shortly. And we can't thank you enough for what you've done. David, thank you again for willing to commit to 6 years on a board or commission. It's one of the longest, the longest one we have. Thank you very much. Can somebody let Mary Beth know to come back in, please? Was that Ian in the back of the mask? I couldn't tell. Was that Ian in the back of the mask?
Yes.
It was? Okay.
Yeah.
With the mask, I couldn't tell.
Yes, that's it.
Ian, I saw you get up, and I was like, was that Ian in the mask? I couldn't tell. Beaufort Chamber Executive, Ian, thank you. Welcome, joining our meeting. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Mayor Vet, David Strange was appointed to the BJWSA board.
Good, welcome aboard.
Last week, we had discussion on the redevelopment commission. Is there any updates from staff right now, or are you just working through?
We're just working through, and based upon the discussions we had last week, I don't want to presume anything, but what we're looking for is to reduce it, I assume, to 5.
I look back, going back through it, it has to be between 5 and 9, so 5's fine.
5's fine.
And the other piece of it was the geographic specificity of their responsibilities or their scope. And right now, it is defined as all the commercial corridors. There may need to be some cleanup to the ordinance to eliminate some of the references to the specific zonings. But, we will need some direction from council as to how geographically specific you want them to be. Do you want it to still be all of the commercial corridors, including Port Royal Landing, including Paris Avenue, or is it something more specific? Now, obviously, the enabling legislation speaks to blighted areas and, that sort of language. So, give that some thought as we move forward.
Diane, can I just say
Go,
something?
please, Mary.
So if we reduce it from 7 to 5, it no longer falls under state, is that correct? By the number of members?
No, I think you can have anywhere from 5 to 9.
Can't be less than 5, no greater than 9.
So it'd still fall under the state rules? Just want to be sure.
And then, so I think some maps at a workshop on what possible different geographical issues, asking the planning staff what makes sense to them a little bit to, as far as where they would like to see a group focus and work. I mean, I think I'd really like some input from staff on that and where they would like to see them work. I mean, it's certainly something, because you're talking about as a geographical nature, that we can look at every 2 years and say, here's what this area's done, and now we need them to move. And let's keep them focused on something in that way. Could be an option. I mean, it's been 20 years since we looked at this, and we're looking at it now, and maybe there's a way to do that a little bit more, complete an area, move on to a different area, instead of being stretched out, because the resources are thin. Does that give you what you need to keep moving forward? Anything else to add, Council?
No, that's good.
I just want to be sure.
Yeah, and we'll understand the
And it does,
legislation completely
reading
before
it.
we get there.
Relies heavily on that blighted
Yes.
area.
Blighted areas.
That's said a lot in there, so.
And so, and then because you do have some applications, maybe we can potentially fill those other 2 seats.
Yeah, but at this time, the commission stand down, not a quorum.
Right,
We're
it's
going to
on.
do this and then re-stand it back up with the existing members. You've notified them that they'll obviously have those first seats. Move forward from there,
Right.
or we decide to.
Yeah, I
do-
mean, it could, you may want to also involve property owners from those impacted areas. and
Right,
businesses.
right.
Just a thought.
That may be a good point also. We choose the map in the area, is there a property owner in that area? Good point. Anything else on redevelopment commission? Hearing none, we've got some important dates. Brooke or Van, who's ever wants to do it?
Yeah, Friday, August 13th at 4:30 PM is the Tort Suite Macaroon Ribbon Cutting Ceremony. Tuesday, the 17th at 4:30 is Redevelopment Commission, but obviously we just discussed that. Saturday, August 21 at 6 PM is the Fall Concert Series. That's the number 3. That's Katie Henry. And then Monday, the 23rd at 5 PM is the Municipal Election Commission meeting.
Good.
What was that Saturday, what was actually, was that Friday time, please?
4:30.
And that's, okay. Is that with the chamber?
And you got Ian here if you want to ask.
Ian, come on up, give us an update. Perfect timing.
No, we'll be doing a ribbon cutting ceremony for Toot Sweet Macaroons, new business located here in Port Royal. I believe that is a military spouse-owned business. So we'll be glad to welcome them to the community and would welcome any members of council and the town staff and others in Port Royal to come join us and help celebrate the ribbon cutting on Friday afternoon.
I'll be there.
Very good. Appreciate that, Jerry. I'm going to be out of town at a wedding, so appreciate anybody that can be there. You going to be there?
I bet they'll have free macaroons.
Free back of it.
Hey,
Somebody,
how can we pass it up?
I'll be back late Friday night. Somebody
Sorry
hired
you
one.
lost. You didn't make it.
My loss. I'll have to go buy one in the next day. I have to go buy patronize it on Saturday and buy one. Council, anything else on special dates they'd like to add? Anything you know about that we don't have on our list? If not, we'll go to council comments. Kevin, you want to start on that end? Anything?
Just say happy anniversary to Councilman Ashmore. That's
Thank you,
great.
sir.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Patient woman.
Know about it?
I've already said happy anniversary to Tina and Jerry. You know, that's great, and wish you very many more of those
Thank you.
years. So, but, nope, that's it.
I'm good, sir. I'm
Okay.
good.
The only thing I'd like to add, great concert series last weekend, enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Very much, looking forward to the next one.
It was.
It was great to see everybody out there. We really packed that street. Maybe we need to start moving those barriers just a little bit further, give a little bit more room, and we look forward to the next one. I do want to let everybody know that next month's workshop, I've got an opportunity to go to the U.S. Conference of Mayors.
Good for you.
And I will not be able to attend the workshop, so I will be at the U.S. Conference of Mayors next month, so sorry about that. If there's any way I can come in remotely, I'll let you know, but it may not work out in that way.
Represent us well, I know you will.
Yep, I will do my best. I'll be wearing two hats, but that's okay. It's the advantage sometimes, and we'll make that work. At this point, I'll open it up to public comment. We had one paperwork filled out, but that's already been done. Anybody else have anything they want to add? We have our little board representatives here. Greg, anything from last week? You're still good?
Still good.
Any other public comment?
Gentlemen,
Ronald?
Please, come forward, stand up.
Right next door to me, they plan on building
For the record, could you state your name and address just for the
Ronald
record?
Jackson, 1610 Rebo Road.
Okay.
Okay, the guy was out there last week, I went out there and talked to him. He said they're putting up a health store there, and they didn't need no permits or nothing from Port Royal or nothing to do it. And I was, just wondering about that, because I asked last week, did they, they said they didn't know nothing about nothing going there.
Okay. Well, we have our planning staff here. Maybe he has some information. If you give us a sec, maybe he can update us on that.
Help of Beaufort is currently engineering a facility on the corner of Casablanca Circle and Rebo Road. It is adjacent to Mr. Jackson's property and a few others.
On the left or the right, as you go down to Casablanca, is it the little lot on the left?
It'll be on the left.
Okay.
If you turn onto Casablanca,
The one that,
correct.
the one that came to us years ago for a food court,
Had that
food
big-
truck place.
Right.
So I've had a pre-application meeting with Help of Beaufort staff as well as their engineer, Greg Bache from Ward Edwards. They are currently working on the concept for a facility that will be office space, warehousing and distribution on the other side of the facility, away from your property, I believe, sir, and potentially an outdoor garden space, and then the parking will be in the rear. That is the concept that they have, and next to you as well? Okay. That is the concept they're working with at the moment. They have not submitted anything formally. I am still in discussions with them as far as what exactly the layout of the site is going to be, and I'd be happy, any neighbors that have any concerns with that, I can exchange information with you after the meeting and make sure that you're up to date with what's going on there. The use that they're proposing is a permitted use there, so they don't
Okay.
need to go through any process where they are approved specially for the use that they want to do there. But if I see fit, they'll still need to go to design review board and make sure that the use and the layout of the site fits well with the surrounding uses.
But they'll have to submit.
They will, yes, sorry,
To the town.
just to clarify, they will need to submit and get permitted for anything that they build and the way that they're using the property.
But they don't need so that what they were kind of probably saying is they don't need a rezoning request.
Correct.
For the property, but they will have to follow all normal building standards, permits, inspections, and all aspects
Correct.
when they get finished with their design.
They will be permitted as site development through zoning, engineering, fire marshal, all of that. Then they will be inspected by the building official. So they may not have communicated well what exactly was happening in the future, but they will absolutely go through the permitting process.
And I
with the
think
town.
Ronald, didn't you ask last week, because you were asking if they needed to notify the adjacent property owners? Because it's not the rezoning, that's why he didn't have to
Doesn't have
come
to.
to the,
Correct.
But-
Is it zoned still residential or commercial?
It is zoned both currently, so the zoning is a mix of things. So the residential uses are still allowed there. The use that they're proposing, which is office and their distribution center for supplies and goods for those that they're helping that need assistance, is also allowed on that property.
Okay, one more thing I noticed, they got ribbons on the live oak trees that they're gonna cut down, and we couldn't cut down no live oaks on our property. And when they build those apartments next door to me, I know they cut down live oaks. You know, so, I mean, what's going on with that?
So the process for them to remove any trees from the property, when they submit for permits to build the building, they mark every tree that they'd like to remove. If they are allowed to remove it, we will either tell them, here is the fee and the amount of trees you need to plant back, or this is, it could be such a huge tree that it's some kind of landmark for the town and they would not be allowed to remove it and they need to work around it. I believe on this site there are, I think, several large live oaks closer to Rebo Road, and you would know better than I would. So they will need to submit a plan that says, here are the trees we'd like to remove. Here's where we're going to plant back trees that will eventually grow up into the same size of trees that we're removing, and so forth. So that's the way that our code is currently written.
And a lot of times during the survey, what they call a tree survey, they tag every tree. So it's not like to show that they surveyed it. So that doesn't mean they're taking down every tree. It just says that it was recorded and is going to be on the plan submitted to the staff. So I've seen, sometimes they tag everything
Yeah.
just so that they know that they were surveyed, and then the town will work with them on deciding which ones can or cannot be
And
removed.
you can encourage, the town can encourage them
Correct.
as far as tree selection. If we've got some trees that are that grand, if they're like that, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We better, we as
Yeah.
a town better do. We
Yes.
gotta do better than that.
And so there's that balance of, do we want this development to be pushed up on the street the way that we envision the corridor all the way back to the Dover master plan, or do we want to make some kind of concessions and make sure we save some trees? And that, it's sort of discretionary, not 100% discretionary, because they would be able to appeal that and say, well, no, we want our building here, and this tree needs to go for us to do that. But there's certainly negotiations that could be had
I would
there.
think they'd want to be good stewards of the environment, good stewards of the community as well. That's a
and-
good group of people.
And that is the other thing that I was going to say to you, Mr. Jackson, was this is an organization that their entire mission is to help community members. They don't want to do anything to neighbors next door that is going to hurt the way that they enjoy their lives and the quality of life they have on their property. I'm sure that Lori would be happy to field a call from you, or you could sit in on a meeting with us and we can talk about, what they plan to do and if it's going to have any kind of negative impacts on y'all that live next door.
And if it goes to the design review board, those meetings are open to the public.
Correct, and if there is a review called, where we look at the site layout and the building design and so forth, you're welcome to attend that meeting, listen, and provide comment.
Okay, because when they want to put the food truck there, they were talking about the traffic right there, and they can't put a light or nothing right there. So that means the traffic will be going through our community, a whole lot of traffic will be going through. They can't go left. They got to go back and go around to
To right turn in, right turn
to get
out.
out.
And depending on the amount of traffic that this development creates, a traffic study could be required. All we did was just simply look at the site layout and their ideas. So if a traffic study is needed, they could be required to do some kind of management where the way people turn into the property and the way they get out has to change. But that's not 100%. That's just based on what they submit in the future.
And in a much bigger picture, that part of the reason that there's no left turn out is because of the entrance and exit to Old Shell Road. And the town is looking very hard on whether that Old Shell Road should remain a road or should it be closed to, and then that would change the intersection completely as far as the way you get in and out of Casablanca as well. So
It won't change the traffic right there at 3 o'clock.
not at 3 o'clock, you're absolutely right. The Run the Ladies Island's not going to change, but it will change some other things in the way that that intersection might need to could be utilized. But that's a bigger picture, and that's part of the traffic study we're looking at in the whole Rebuilt Road corridor. We're looking at all of those, trying to try to find solutions for all of that with that traffic. I really don't want to get, I think Noah, you can tell Noah's ready to talk with you whenever you need. We're certainly is ready. Yeah, just get with Noah, he'll get with you, and you guys can sit down, and we can move that conversation to you. If you need to come back before us, we're here for you at any time, or you can reach out to us. Everybody good?
Yeah, before we leave
Great.
tonight,
Thank you.
we'll exchange information.
There you go, we know that. Anybody else for public comment? Come forward. Again, state your name and address, please.
I'm Steve Jones. I live at 1007 12th Street. I'm trying to see if there's any kind of help that we can get there on 12th Street. My house is located right next to the Alano Hall where they have the AA meetings. And on the street, we have a terrible problem with parking. They park all up in the yard, but then they start parking up and down the streets. The neighbors, a lot of the neighbors, Kevin's seen it, he lives on the same street further down, but the neighbors are afraid to even walk their dogs because of people pulling out. And I've watched several accidents, people backing up, backing into another car. And I've talked with, all I know was by his Kangaroo. And he said, he would contact the people that, I guess the board members or somebody he knew there. And they did respond by putting up signs across the street from my house and from the Alano building that said no parking this side, and they promptly ran over all the signs. And my brother and I put up some more signs to replace those. They've run over those. They're all missing now and missing in action. It's really bad. I spent about the first 2 years that I moved back to Port Royal, I spent those years constantly dealing with them parking in my yard. When they try to pull up into the yard, they will come through and run over the fence posts that I have there. They started out with the one closest to the road, now they've hit the other one, running over the flower bushes right there at the side of the road. And it's getting out of hand. I'm just wondering, is there something that can be done about that?
Yeah, and Stephen, you did talk to me, and I've looked and been watching it, and some of the cars aren't even parked on the side of the road. They're kind of half in the street and half in the road, which is dangerous.
Yeah, and then they'll even park, one thing they do that is against the law is they will park right up to the stop sign. And it's my understanding that state statute says you can't park within 15 feet of the stop sign or a traffic signal. So, as neighbors, I don't have a problem with them over there. They don't make a lot of noise, even when they're outside there. It's just tough. I spent all those years, I was having to be the bad guy and go over and kick the door open to get their attention. And after a couple of months of that and threatening to have them towed, they're not parking in my yard much anymore. But it's just the rest of the street and the rest of the neighbors. There are lots that are for sale. I think one of them sold, or two of them, across the street from me. And I know when they start doing construction and everything over there, it's really going to be tight because they've got some equipment parked over there today on that side of the road. So
Yeah, I'll say that. With living on 12th Street, it can get congested. And the thing is, there's plenty of parking on Paris Avenue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You just got to walk a little bit.
They just don't want to walk.
But you can look right here. There's plenty of parking right down Paris Avenue, right? It's right around the corner.
I think we certainly can reach out to them and talk with them. about the parking and see if we can't, but you're right, I think there's somebody that's actively looking at the lots across the street. The dynamics is gonna change right there. It's a good time maybe for the dynamics to change, and we can work with them and meet with them some more.
I
Appreciate you bringing our
any help
attention
I
to
can
our
get.
attention, and we'll keep going at it.
Are
I
there
think
par-
they meet twice a day.
I was gonna, are there
now.
particular days or times of the day? Because if it, just thinking about specific enforcement, if the.
Yeah, they have meetings there
Oh,
all
yeah,
day
yeah.
long.
Yeah.
And the early mornings is not too bad, but when you start getting to the later part of the afternoon, it's like when we started to head down here, they're already lined up and down the street. It's just kind of frustrating.
There's well, you can't see it too well. This image, y'all can see if you're, I've used the 2021 overlay, and you can see from here, the satellite happened to be going over
During a meeting.
and you can see here, and there's your right up to the stop sign.
Yeah.
Like I
It's
said,
just-
look over on Paris, there's parking,
Yeah.
parking on the right side, on the left side.
Yeah, I'm looking at the street view now of the same property. I thought I knew which one it was. I wanted to make sure. Yep. We appreciate you bringing it to our attention, and we'll focus on it.
I appreciate it. And one
Like I
other
said, they're
comment.
fairly good neighbors, other than the parking issue. and we'll-
Yeah, other than that, I don't have a problem with them.
Yeah, there we go.
After the storm damage and all we had, I just thought I'd mention that if anybody needs any assistance with interpreting insurance policies and so forth, I'm willing to help out. I spent 30 years as a claims adjuster. And I'm not licensed right now. I made sure I could retire by letting my license lapse.
Forced
But
retirement?
there's nothing that says I can't give neighborly advice.
Very good.
When was this picture?
This is 19, and look, they're parked in your yard
that
there,
picture.
see?
Yeah.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Across
just,
from
it's
the
on
road.
that road, and it's so dangerous because they're half on the road and half on the streets. And the people's property out there, and it's just dangerous.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for bringing it to
Thank
us.
you.
Anybody else? Public comment? Hearing none? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. In a second.
Second.
Did you have something you wanted to add?
No, I was just saying, I hate to leave, but I was gonna motion to adjourn,
We're going to hang around here, no motion to adjourn, we want to stay on. No. And thanks everybody for social distancing and wearing your mask. I know we're not, but we'll be putting them on as we get up.